live. Good evening, everybody. My name is Liam. This is a reading of poetry. New unpublished work written in the last month. And the content of the poetry is for you as a listener to enjoy and to be inspired. I've been writing for many years, and this particular presentation of my work has been going on now for 1.5 years at least, on a bi-weekly basis. An apology for those regular participants and listeners the last month. I have been unable to give this presentation. I've simply been too ill. Yeah, I'm 4 months into chemotherapy, and it is a heavy and bumpy ride. And the last 4 weeks, I've been extremely weakened and ill from the side effects of the chemo. But 4 months into the whole procedure, this evening I'm feeling tippy-toppy. It's been a beautiful summer day here in the little town of Eckernförde on the Baltic Sea where I live. So I'm feeling fit as a fiddle, fine, and so looking forward to sharing some of the work that I've written these last weeks. It's not that much, to be honest. It's been difficult because I have been extremely ill, but there you are. Nevertheless, it's always a great inspiration for me to look at our condition as simple human beings. And it's such a complicated thing to be a human being, a happy human being, in spite of all of the manifold madness, chaos, confusion, lies, pain and suffering that surround everyone all the time. But within that difficult boiling pot, which each of us know as life, there is a message. There is a quiet, secret understanding from which, through which, and towards which, when we find it and we move in that direction, it lifts. It makes life more easier, more happier, more deeper, and to a greater extent, we are able to appreciate what it is that we have and how beautiful this life is that we have been graced to live. And it's on these topics of describing the sensitive but invisible world of our humanity, of our thoughts, how they connect with our feelings, how we become inspired. What by that which inspires us? How we see the beauty in the most simple things. How we lift the moment, however difficult it might be. And in that, we bring towards it something deep within our own souls. And we enrich our experience, making it something beautiful, unique, and lovely. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see people writing on the comment bar. A brief introduction about the evening. Part number 1 is going to be reading new work, which I've dying to do, and talking about it which will be part number 2. And part number 3, which I always love doing, it's actually giving something back. Now, as you can see, these are already 3 books which have been published and are available on Amazon, just as a memory jogger. If anyone's looking for a good book of poetry to dive into every now and again in a quiet, reflective moment, here are books of beautiful poems, and I'm going to be reading your chosen poem from these books. This will be part 3 of the presentation. And so please don't leave. The fun really begins after I've finished reading and talking just a little bit about some of the new work. So, off we go. The first poem I'm going to share with you, it's called The Chemical Marriage. The Chemical Marriage. The chemical marriage. And as we all know, it's the chemistry. We talk about the chemistry in relationships. Either the chemistry works and it's strong and it's magical and it's powerful and it grips us and it grabs us and takes us with it, creating a new chemical substance. Yeah, we add what it is that we are, and something new comes forth from it. And in this way, the poem talks about the chemical transformation of the searching soul. And as it meets its creator, as it lets go and emancipates itself from the confines of our weighed and difficult lives, it's in that magical moment that a chemical marriage takes place. So listen up. Listen with focus, a focus which I call divergent focus, a focus whereby you close your eyes and you focus on your listening. You sensitize your listening. Listen for the content. Listen to the swinging movement of the melody. Listen for the images which light up in your own imagination. Because that's where poetry begins to live. When the spark jumps from words written on a piece of paper to lighting up in your very own imagination. This is the moment, and this is what makes poetry so special, and which has kept it part of our cultural heritage since the very beginning of time. Poetry's always been there, and it's my endeavour to continue this tradition by sharing a little bit of what it is that I write and explaining perhaps a little bit about what I'm saying. Chemical marriage. Should my soul become visible to you or even to me, this substantiation of the self, the authentic true expression, reaches into life, alive and formative. It's a force of love which forges the moment upon the anvil of our malleable personality, thrashing out the idiosyncrasies of misunderstanding, hammering into shape a ring of truth, which, when worn, will reunite the insight, your intention, and my wish to unflinchingly join in the truest, the marriage of the Spirit, that of heaven, and our supplication. Simply listen to the whisperer and nod the answer. Yes, I will. And in every marriage ceremony, one is asked the question, will you take to be your truly beloved husband or wife? And the answer is, yes, I will. And in the spiritual marriage, whereby we thrash out the idiosyncrasies of misunderstanding upon the malleable anvil of our own personality, we are malleable, we can change, we can be transformed, creating a ring of truth, intention, and the wish to unflinchingly join in the truest, a ring of truth, to unite yourself in marriage, in the chemical marriage, the chemical union between you and God. This next little poem is called Play, and again, it shares the story of the search for love, how playfully love searches for itself, and in finding it, finds an answer which, if you listen carefully, you might hear yourself. Play. I become intoxicated by love. True, I drink deep and more. This ruby wine flowing from the goblet of my life. Inebriated I dance, spin circles, each day a kaleidoscope of joy. To rise again with the sun, to sink again with the stars. Life, 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 you wondrous thing, you joyous friend, let's play, let's speaking share in the inebriation of joy. How the miracle made manifest shines, golden, through the threshold of now. So there you are, uniting with joy and filling the moment with something intoxicating, like the ruby wine from the goblet of your life, to dance and spin circles, each day a kaleidoscope of joy, to rise with the sun and sink with the stars. Life, 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 you joyous thing. So that's a poem celebrating the beauty of life as we live it and share it every single day. This next little poem is called Soar, to soar. As you can imagine, an eagle or a great pinioned bird flying across a wide open sky. Before love became my shining light, my sight was dimmer than the shadowed haze of dusk. Then my gaze, dissolving bit by bit those clouds of doubt, creating thoughts so clear, so true, so blue. Sky is all we need, for as we fly, love will stretch its feathers across the night, giving us the insight to wait for dawn, not feel forlorn. Just soar, for above the clouds awaits the more, awaits the light. So the metaphor here is love growing and soaring and carrying us above the clouds, where it awaits the more, it awaits the light, stretching its feathers across the night and giving us the insight to wait for dawn, not feel forlorn. So there the poem plays on the idea of even in those moments when we are suffering, when we are alone, when we are weak and frightened, lonesome, when we feel isolated, when we feel misunderstood, when our bodies are giving us pain. Those are moments we need to bear and wait for the dawn and not feel forlorn. For we still will soar above the clouds, awaits the more, awaits the light. And with the light comes the healing, comes the joy, comes the understanding, and we move forward and we leave what's been behind. This next poem is called The Palace in the Wind, and I actually found this poem to be, for me, rather special. So I'd like you to listen carefully and see if you can follow the imagery of this poem called Palace in the Wind. Fiaz Ahmad. Good evening. Nice that you could make it. Palace in the Wind. Are my words wasted on your tired mind? Or is this intent the spark that flicks an idea to activate, stimulate your reflections? The thirsty, the seekers will drink to the taste of their insight. This table of plenitude, where we meet before the journey taken, not alone but inspired by the cusp of the infinite, we will go silent to the edge of the persona. Beyond is where we wish, though. It's in that place, the palace of the wind, we again will reunite, not as friends or lovers, as insight, as inspiration, as intuition, moving to fruition with the Spirit. So it's a deeply spiritual piece of work whereby it is the journey of the seekers thirsty for the knowledge and understanding of what life actually means and is about. We come to the table of plenitude, where we meet before we take the journey, before we leave, and we all will go on a journey to understand and to discover who it is and where it is and what it is. We are in the short life that we live. Beyond, beyond is where we wish, though. Beyond, we wish to go beyond this mere mortal self and understand what it is that life brings and means. And it's there in the palace of the wind. We meet. But we meet not as lovers, and we meet not as friends. But we meet as inspiration, as insight, as intuition, moving to fruition with the Spirit. So in that palace of the wind, where we meet without our personalities, but we meet with our intention. And this intention is something which connects us in a chemical marriage to one another. Because your intention and my intention, when it's the same, it joins as a powerful energy to carry not only us, but the intention. It carries the intention, enabling others to participate. And where do we move? We move with and into fruition with the Spirit. The last poem I wrote was called Finding Felicity. And Felicity, Felicitas, is a lovely name, but Felicity is something joyous. It means joy, it means happiness, it means comfort and understanding. So finding felicity is about finding that inner peace, that joy, that happiness and love. It's when my thoughts reach back in time to pain, to memories past, I lose the peace of now aghast at how to get back on my track. It's when my imagination takes me to tomorrow, pins me to the wall of worry. Wings twitching I cry, when truly we are meant to fly beyond insecurities which we might borrow. It's when in the now gratitude has gone, so the joy is taken, robbed and broken, meanings lost, this broken heart a token to all that which waits to bring us to God. It's in the living of these three. Be grateful for this moment as we take stock, when it's only now that ticks, not the clock, of being present to the self, of living true to me. So this poem has a particular rhyming scheme, which is A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C, and so on. My thoughts reach back, how to get back on my track, to memories past, of peace now aghast. So the poem, it takes us and it tells us the story that when we live in the past, we can't change it. The pain and the misunderstanding of what has been, has been. We cannot change the past. All that we can change is the way we think about it. When my imagination takes me into the future and I am insecure and worried about what might be tomorrow or the day after, I'm pinned to the wall of worry. Wings twitching, I cry, when truly we are meant to fly. So living with the insecurities of the future, how can we be happy? The future is the future, and 1,000 million things might happen between now and tomorrow. If you're lucky, you will wake up alive to experience another joyful day. But there are many that won't. Never forget that. There are many that go to sleep and don't wake in the morning. It's such a powerful awareness that what we have in our consciousness is a gift. The third thing is gratitude. When in the moment of living, we do not fill this awareness with gratefulness, with gratitude, joy is taken, robbed and broken, meaning lost, this broken heart, a token. So we need to have gratitude. We desperately need to have gratitude to all that which waits to bring us God. For gratitude will bring God in his many manifestations closer to our own experience and our own heart. It's in the living of these three, the past, the future, and the present with no gratitude. We need be grateful for this moment as we take stock, as we become aware. It's only now that ticks and not the clock. It's only now that ticks and not the clock. So in that, we are saying that the moment is ever present and powerful, and it's not determined by the clock. Of being present to the self, of living true to me, of being present to the self, of being present to the self, of being present to the self, of living true to me, of living true to me, of being present to the self, of living true to me. So that says, be authentic, be grateful, and love and live. So, time is flying. Thank you so much for your patience. If anyone would like to leave a comment, say a comment. It's a monologue. It's me just presenting and reading and talking a little bit. So it actually comes alive when I can hear something and I can respond to what it is that your thoughts might be, that your insights, your feelings. I still have 2 more poems, but I think I'm much more interested in actually reading a poem to you as a listener. So please, this is New Millennium Poetry, a Literary Experience, Volume 3. It's the 3rd book. It has 212 pages. So if you type me a number between 1 and 212, I will read you the poem which is on that particular page. And more often than not, when we do this reading, that the poem that you choose has something extraordinarily special to do with you at this particular moment. And that's what makes it so interesting. So, book number 1, between page 1 and 112. If you just type in a number in the comment bar on your Facebook Live page, I should be able to see it. And while you're doing that, I will read you another poem. If you can still manage. This poem is called Love's Embrace. It's a love poem, and as a poet, we can write about love forever because it's so manifold, it's so vast, it has so many facets. And here we are. Here is another poem to love, and it's called Love's Embrace. When love embraces me, it is I who sees angels soaring, wings still wet with colour, across a silver sunrise, while all around others hear the choir resonate with lavish joy. Majestically my soul stretches its pinions to enfold you, to hold you, to embrace the bursting flood of love's true grace. We tumble homeward, feathers flying as we fall into magnificence. Sky blue lips vibrating with the passion of this inevitability. When love embraces me, it's I who sees angels soaring, wings still wet with colour across a silver sunrise, while all around others hear the choir resonate with lavish joy. Majestically my soul stretches its pinions to enfold, to hold, to embrace the bursting flood of love's true grace. We tumble homeward, feathers flying, as we fall into magnificence. Sky blue lips vibrating with the passion of this inevitability. Good. I've just opened the book on page 71, and I'm going to read you a poem called Amazing. It's called Amazing. And I'm reading it for all of you listeners as a way of saying thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to these words that I've read, and for your patience of actually still being here after 35, almost 40 minutes. Amazing. What I found in you amazed me. What happened when I found this in myself crazed me. Like running around under a rain cloud, leaping up, grabbing at bolts blue and thunder loud, catching big blobs of wet in my mouth, filled with the taste of the moment, the crack and fizzle of the lightning, before it's exploding across my synapses, falling in love 1,000 times in an instant, to then be carried away, softly on the in-breath, experience the perigee of passion, before exhaustion rolled me up in dreams of tomorrow. What I found in you crazed me. What happened when I found this in myself, this amazed me. So, that was just a little poem taken randomly out of the book, Volume 3, Volume 2. Here's another random poem. Page 103, and this poem is called The Love. Morning beautiful to my lips, I call your loving to the tips of fingers folded, hands on knees. Eyes wide shut, you are at ease. The blossoming bud of a rose in bloom, your perfume, my thought, permeate the room. With morning joy, fresh love on high, twinkle glance in a clear blue eye. We meet, we see, we know it's real. It's simply this, it's what we feel, the love. That was a random poem taken out of book number 2. And to finish the evening, I'm going to take a random poem from book number 1, New Millennium Poetry, characterized by the Buddha wearing headphones, the ancient wisdom and the modern technology. And let's have a look. Here we are. Page 52. The mind of now. The mind of now. Live the full life of the mind, continuously seeking out exquisite peace, actually the tranquility to perceive it. Be exhilarated by new ideas. Be intoxicated by the romance of the unknown. Life not mine alone, but ours, love's breathing with the seasons too. Sparkling with the starlight, laughing with the children. They are my reminders of me. They are memories of who I used to be before now. Being beautiful, being enough, being mindful, being true to you, being me to the who I was born to be. I'm not my mind. It's its fullness which fills me though. My mind, yours too, or who? Peter, good evening. That's a random poem from book number 1 of 3 volumes of poetry. If you're fast, you can type in a page number between 1 and 212, and I will actually read you a poem from book number 3. And more often than not, it's an intuitive thing whereby the content of the poem really has something to say about you as an individual. You might find that if you would like to, you might find that recognition. New Millennium Poetry, volume number 3. A number, please, anybody? Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you for listening. It's been a wonderful evening. It's been wonderful to be back after a month to share a little bit. And all I can say is God bless, namaste, take care, stay healthy, stay happy, keep on the journey, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Good night and lots of love, Liam.